Hey, Pillar Church, it's Carey. I'm going to be going over Genesis 46 and 47. So I want to start off with a little context about 46. Jacob is about 130 years old. He has 70 descendants, and Joseph, his son from Rachel, is actually second in command, just like Joseph told the family he would be in Genesis 37. Well, there's a famine in the land, and so Joseph tells Jacob and the rest of their family, hey, come to where I'm at in Egypt and I'll take care of you guys. But this is difficult for Jacob to process through because God originally told Jacob to stay in Canaan and that's where he would be blessed. So he's not sure what to do, but he's like, I can't stay in a famine. So he takes his whole family and they start on their way to Egypt. But on their way, they stop at Beersheba. Beersheba is the same place that Abraham worshiped God. Isaac worshiped God. So this is a special place in the heart of Jacob. And so Jacob stops to worship the Lord there. And you can imagine some of the things that he's worshiping about. One, he's praising God. He thought his son Joseph was dead, and now he actually will be able to get to see him. But two, commentaries say this, that he was most likely spending time asking God what to do. God, will you be with me as I go to Egypt? Because you told me to stay in Canaan originally. And God speaks to him. I'm going to read Genesis 46, verse 2. It says this, and God spoke to Israel in a vision at night and said, Jacob, Jacob. Here I am, he replied. I am God, the God of your father, he said. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for I will make you into a great nation there. I will go down to Egypt with you, and I will surely bring you back again, and Joseph's own hand will close your eyes. So God speaks to him right there. Now, flip with me to Genesis 47, and you see they actually make it to Egypt, and Joseph has the perfect place waiting for them, which is Goshen, which it's not too close to the Egyptians, so that way they can play influence on the Israelites, but it's not too far, so that way he can keep an eye on them, so to speak. And so you begin to see, you go down, you see the famine is getting worse and worse. It literally went from Canaan all the way up to Egypt, but you go all the way to verse 27 and you see that God is taking care of the Israelite people. So I want to put more attention on verse 46, 1 through 2. The thing about God is that once you draw near to him, he will draw near to you as you begin to humble yourself to get answers for him, to get comfort from him. And that's what you see Jacob do. And it's the same thing for us, especially in the midst of a pandemic. There's so many things that we're unsure of. There's so many things that we might be afraid about, but we have more than they had. We have the Holy Spirit, believers. And so when we're unsure what to do, we just can spend time in prayer and seek God. And once we begin to do that, through the Holy Spirit, he'll remind us of the words of Christ. And so that's how this passage applies to us, is that in the midst of a famine, in the midst of a pandemic, we can go to God. The same God who says that he blesses Jacob is also the same God who comforts Jacob. And so that's the same thing. Same God who blessed us by sending Jesus down on the cross is the same God who wants to comfort us and speak to us, even in the midst of storms, so to speak. And so I hope that you guys are so encouraged by that today as it encouraged me.